Like in India we have upper, middle and lower class. In Korea, there is something called the spoon theory. Every single person in Korea is hypothetically born with a spoon in their mouth. And there are rankings of spoons. The dirt spoon. People who make less than $25,000 a year and have less than $125,000 in assets. Then you have the plastic spoon. People who make $25,000 to $50,000 a year with more than $125,000 to $250,000 in assets. Then you have the wooden spoon. This is the top 50% of the population, with a salary of $50,000 to $100,000 and assets between $250,000 to $500,000. Then you have the stainless steel spoon. Okay, now you're in the top 25% of the population. People who make around $100,000 to $200,000 and you have about $1 million in assets. You hit the bronze spoon. You are now within the top 10% of the population. You make anywhere between $200,000 to $400,000 a year and you have assets valued at $1 to $2 million. Then you have the silver spoon. You are now an elite. That's top 5%er in South Korea you're talking about. And you make anywhere between $400,000 to $800,000 a year and you have $2 to $4 million in assets. Then you hit the golden spoon. Welcome to the top 1%, with more than $800,000 to $1.6 million in annual revenue and more than $4 to $8 million in assets. Then you have the platinum spoon. This is the top 0.5% of the population. They make anywhere between $1.6 to $3.2 million a year, and they have between $8 to $16 million in assets. Diamond spoons. This is the top 0.1% of the population. They're earning at least $3.2 million a year, and they have more than 16 plus like around $16 to $32 million in assets. The only diamond spoons are really the chaebols. Che means wealthy, bol is clan, so wealthy clan. They're basically a group, a family that runs some of the largest conglomerates and monopolies and businesses in the whole nation. And these chaebols, they basically single-handedly run the economy. Chaebol marries a chaebol. If they don't marry another chaebol, they'll marry the kids of political figures, or they'll marry actors, actresses or TV newscasters, Olympians, athletes. South Korea is a country that prides itself on being the best at something. So when a South Korean wins medals at the Olympics, suddenly that sport becomes the next biggest thing in South Korea. On that note, let's learn a little bit more about today's case revolving around a fencing silver medalist, Nam Hyun-hee, who marries the youngest son of the most secretive conglomerate, chaebol family, in South Korea. The Chuns. They're really secretive because gambling is technically illegal in South Korea. And to have a big percentage of their business focus on casinos answers it all. Their company is called Paradise Group. Gambling is illegal in South Korea. But they run a gambling business. How do they do that as a South Korean running a gambling business that is illegal? That doesn't even make sense. So usually the business is from Chinese travelers traveling from China to Korea to gamble. And the chairman of Paradise Group, Philip Chun, is worth almost $1 billion. Now his net worth does fluctuate quite a bit. So Philip Chun is JJ's dad. JJ is the youngest heir to the throne. JJ is the chaebol at the center of today's case. JJ is the illegitimate child of the current chairman, president of Paradise Group. But President Chun of Paradise Group did not want anyone to know that he had an illegitimate child, so he flew JJ and his mom to US to New York to be precise, and sent them crazy amounts of money to keep them shut. Now, Paradise Group's youngest son announces that they will be marrying Olympian Nam Hyun-hee. Let's know a little bit more about Nam Hyun-hee. She is already married, has a kid and retired from fencing, and has opened up her fencing facility. One of the fencing teachers that Nami has hired is accused of SAing a minor student for like a year straight. But rather than facing the investigation, he self-exits. Nami was clearly struggling, her facility is under so much negative press. So a lot of people didn't feel comfortable dropping off their kid at a place like this. And then Nami's relationship with her cyclist husband, another athlete, is just not fulfilling to her. But then one day there's a man walking towards her with his 10 bodyguards all dressed up in suits checking out the fencing facility. It's JJ. JJ walks straight. "Yeah, Nami, the fencing Olympian. Yeah. I would like to learn from you. I would like a private lesson." So Nami starts giving this mysterious stranger private fencing lessons. Now JJ is so mysterious to Nami, she slowly develops interest in JJ, and starts going on dates with JJ, and she's just falling in love, but it's not clean cut. Nami is still married to her cyclist husband. August 21st, 2023, Nami announces her divorce to the world. She makes a public statement. "There is someone who gives true unconditional love to me and my daughter, and that is the person I plan to spend the rest of my life with." She never said she's getting a divorce. So some netizens interpreted that message as her husband cheated on her. Why else would this fencing medalist post this like cryptic message out of the blue? So her husband also gives a very brief statement. He actually confirms the divorce, and he said we had a consensual divorce. Please avoid discussing others' private matters so easily. That added fuel to the fire. People thought that was a guilty man speaking. Rumors start running crazy. And the next day, Nami did not make it any better. She posts this very lengthy Instagram statement, and it's so confusing. It reads, "I'm Nam Hein Hee. There is something I want to tell you about. So I'm going to write it to you very carefully. Many people asked me yesterday if I got a divorce. I'm writing after a lot of thought to answer this question. Yes, that's right. I got a divorce. There were some difficulties I couldn't tell you before I made this choice. I have a very precious child. I have been very careful not to hurt my daughter, and I think I've been trying very hard under all of this. I think many people think the word marriage means a 100-year contract, and I have always done my best as a wife. Of course, nobody thinks that they're perfect. But being a mother for the first time ever made me realize just how clumsy I was. But I have never, ever done anything shameful to bring disgrace to my family. That is why I've always been forgiving and embracing the other person's mistakes and moving forward with my life, thinking it must be a mistake. You know, because maybe they made it because I was clumsy. But as time passed, I realized these mistakes were being repeated again and again, and I reached that threshold. The turning away of another person's eyes from their family home has caused me and my family members severe wounds. I am the daughter of a precious parent. I am the mother of a precious child. So far, I have been raised by my parents and blindly loved. That is why I'm also the person who wants to give such love to my precious child, and I believe the only true love that can be given is blind love. Divorce is a bad thing. So I couldn't tell many people at once, but there was an opportunity for me to tell them the news later. I have a new person who gives me true blind love also to my daughter's family and me, someone who will be with me and my daughter for the rest of our lives. I will make that person as stronger, better, Nam Hai Nai as she is. So on and so forth. So once the fans got over the divorce, fans start seeing Nami posting more frequently about all the expensive things in her life, like all the expensive things her new person is gifting to her. Like they don't know that she's dating Chibu yet. People on the internet started breaking down all the prices of her new designer goods. In the span of a month the grand total came out to be $50,000. That was not all. Her Chibu boyfriend also paid off her load of $110,000 and bought her a $300,000 Bentley SUV. She also moved into the Signia Lot Tower, which is the tallest building in South Korea and 6th tallest buildings in the world. Rent of the particular unit that JJ, her boyfriend, was renting was allegedly $78,000 a month. Interestingly, Chibels do not live there, like you would imagine. They pick mansions in quiet, rich areas of Sorrow with giant gates and privacy, trees just to stay away from attention. It's said that you only live at the Lot Tower if you want to be seen. So this is not the place for you if you don't want to be seen. So to put it in perspective, there is a lounge inside the tower, and you have to pay $200 per person to enter the lounge. One of the main reasons that people go and pay that much money for these lounges is so that they can rub shoulders with people like JJ. JJ's neighbors are interested in investing in whatever Paradise Group Sun is trying to invest in. Now October 23, 2023, Nami and JJ do a now infamous interview. Like on TV, what's the premise? Announcing their engagement. Silver medalist engaged. Now up until this point, the interview went a little bit deeper on Nami's new love story, but also who JJ was because nobody really knows much about the Paradise Group. The news went deep into JJ's life as the third-generation Chibu who lived in New York, and all the things he did to impress Nami. There was a slight cuteness to JJ too because JJ grew up in New York. They would heavily use Konglish, which is a mixture of Korean and English. JJ also divulged in the business that they started in the US. It's a mental health facility for rich kids. JJ puts it like this. If a rich kid falls off a horse and now has horse trauma, the mental health facility will design a particular special individual therapy course for that kid to help them recover from the trauma around horses and falling off of a horse. They will work through that trauma with the rich kid to help them regain confidence again. So that's what JJ was focusing on in the US. But allegedly, back in South Korea after moving back, JJ was fully involved in the family business. So we can assume that JJ was welcomed in with open arms by the Chuns, if they're working at Paradise Group. So the night that the engagement was made public, Nami received a DM on Instagram. She clicks open the DM, and it reads translated. He's not rich. He's not from the US. He's not a Chibu. He's from the countryside in South Korea. And he is not even a he. Wait, who sent this? A random DM to Nami. All hell broke loose. This became one of the biggest scandals in South Korea. This is the story of how Korea's sweetheart fencing Olympian was scammed by a con artist, pretending to be the legitimate male heir to a conglomerate casino fortune worth billions of dollars, but they were assigned female at birth. This is not a story of a transgender guys. This is not the story of an individual who is being brave and opening themselves up to the world. JJ pretended to be all sorts of different people, an investor, an IT specialist, a Chibu kid, a horseback riding professional, and unfortunately JJ would also leverage traditional gender roles to have higher chances of succeeding in their scams. JJ is hurting the transgender community rather than being a representative of that community. This is just the story of a scam artist that turned themselves into whoever, so that they could scam people out of money. There is zero evidence that JJ ever presented as any other gender when there was not a scam involved. In most sources, they have just been switching the pronouns to he when JJ's scam involved being a man, and then she when JJ's scam involved being a woman. I'm just going to stick with they then pronouns, just because I guess I don't want to definitively say that they were not struggling with their gender identity. And I don't know how they identified. So the general consensus was that JJ would find a target, a victim to scam, and try to figure out the easiest way to scam them. If the victim was going to be a man, they believed the easiest way was to present as a woman and vice versa. There are roughly about 100,000 Amex Black card holders in the world. JJ has the Black Amex card only, theirs wasn't real. There are services where you can send your credit card in, and they will paint it to look like the black card. That's not even the worst part. It gets even crazier. So one of the more expensive lines that Mercedes has to offer is Maybach starts around $200,000. The Maybach with JJ drove around was fake. It was an S-Class which starts around $120,000. They took off the S-Class signage on the back and bought the fake Maybach signs online and glued it to the car. So clearly JJ was not who they said they were. JJ was not the heir to the Paradise Group. JJ didn't even grow up in New York. JJ doesn't even speak English. The day the interview of the engagement announcement went up, someone commented on the video, "Up until middle school you were doing taekwondo, why do you suddenly keep saying that you did horseback riding?" The commentator also wrote, "When she was training with me she was a woman. Right now, I don't know." After that first initial interview, JJ went on a few interviews to try and clarify some of these weird rumors. The interviews went weird. JJ was also asked "Hey, can you explain to us the exact relationship to the Chan chairman?" JJ is basically "Let me think about my relationship with my father and get back to you on it." It was just really bizarre. Then childhood photos came up of JJ. They were leaked. Not only did JJ not grow up in New York, but JJ was born and raised in a not so great area in Incheon, near the airport. JJ's parents owned karaoke bars, did not do well for themselves, which is fine. Nothing is wrong with that. But along with JJ's childhood photos, stories were coming out about how JJ was kind of an odd one. During high school, JJ would take pictures with cars that were not their cars, and then post about it as if it was their car. All of JJ's old friends stated JJ does not speak any English at all, but then JJ would get these mysterious phone calls, and then pick up. Just go to the corner and be like, "Yes, okay, next time, yes, perfect, okay, goodbye." For 10 minutes straight, it wasn't even quick phone calls. At one point JJ pretended to die in high school. Sent out invitations of their funeral to everyone. And then when it was obviously revealed that JJ was not dead, JJ was like, "Sorry guys, I had amnesia." So October 24th, the police show up at the Signal residences, and it said that Nami looked at JJ genuinely stressed out, and she was pleading with them. "You can tell me the truth. I really like you. Even if you're not the son of the Paradise Group, just tell me, please, it's fine." And JJ told her that the media is lying. Sometimes Nami would get text messages from the chairman of Paradise Group while JJ was asleep. How would JJ be able to do that? So she posted on her Instagram, "I will take strong measures with no mercy for any false information spread with evil intent." JJ later posts, "I will deal with the false rumors till the very end. For me, Nami and her daughter are the most important precious things in the world. I have to protect those precious to me and to protect those most precious things. I will do everything within my power." And Dispatch drops an article soon after and everything blows up, even more detonates. It's like a full breakdown of all of JJ's past crimes because JJ has a criminal record. JJ is a criminal con artist and has scammed people out of nearly $3 million. Changing occupations, changing genders to scam people. April 2018, JJ meets a man on a dating app while presenting as a woman. In the end, JJ robbed this man of $44,000. April 2019, JJ approached a woman presenting as a man, stating that, quote, his wife was a successful water company owner. JJ tells this person that, "Hey, just invest $2,300 with my wife. And after 6 months, you will receive $3.8 million in returns." August 2019, JJ started a job recruiting scam and pretended to be two different people, a recruiting employee and a recruiting manager. In 2017, JJ married another woman. And this woman was under the impression that JJ was assigned male at birth. JJ would bandage their chest in the restroom every single day. And later, everyone would wonder how the ex-wife did not know, but she stated that she genuinely didn't know. And it's suspected by online netizens that JJ used a very realistic attachment that you would not be able to tell in dim lighting if it was real or not. If that makes sense. The ex-wife would also state that they never had too many intimate times, and they would always do it with the lights off. Now it's crazy, but JJ did the same thing to Nami. Nami said that JJ kept telling her she seemed pregnant, which is kind of odd when you think about it. So Nami is like, I don't think I'm pregnant. But JJ kept pressuring her to take a pregnancy test. And when she did, they were positive. She takes another one in the house, they were positive. 10 positive pregnancy tests later. Nami's confused because first of all, she does not feel pregnant at all. And she's even thinking maybe I'm having a boy then because I don't feel pregnant. And second of all, she knew at this point that JJ was assigned female at birth. So she's like, how are we pregnant? I don't get it. But JJ had told her that they had a testicle transfer, basically stating that JJ was the heir to a huge fortune. So obviously they get elite medical care that the general population does not have access to. JJ was able to pay for state-of-the-art medical innovations like a teeth transfer. So JJ said JJ's twin brother suddenly there's a twin brother involved. When urologist told the Korean news network so many factors come into play like the teeth transfer itself, I think is feasible. But the fact that you can impregnate after that is like it's not just the organ that the patient needs. It's a very specific cocktail of hormones that would be needed. It's not done yet. Anyway, Nami goes to her sister's place and gets a pregnancy test, and it shows her that she's not pregnant. So now she's confused. All the while JJ is on the side like I'm gonna take responsibility. Let's get married and have a family. They wanted to use Nami to get investments, seed money, stuff like that. And she probably has a good circle of people to tap into. So Nami is so confused just to get confirmation. She goes to her gynecologist and as she's sitting in the exam room with the doctor, she hears a commotion outside in the waiting room. She hears screaming, where is Nami? The nurse is heard saying, no sir, you can't go do this. The nurse barges in, I'm so sorry doctor, but the patient's son is here. He's very upset. JJ is 15 years younger than Nami. So the nurse mistook them for Nami's son. When that dispatch article was released, Nami's family drove to the residence, and she straight up asked JJ, are you really the granddaughter of that family then? Because now JJ's saying, okay, fine, I'm assigned female at birth, and I'm not the son. I'm the daughter. So Nami just stares at JJ and said, how am I supposed to live in Korea anymore? Do I have to leave the country? So side note, Nami is correct on feeling scared about her future. A lot of K-netizens do not see her purely as a victim. Others feel suspicious of her. So allegedly some of JJ's victims sent their money to Nami's bank account. But again, Nami could have been oblivious to it, or she could have been told that it was for a very specific reasonable purpose, that is not a scam. After Dispatch released the article, her parents basically had to come to the residence and tell her to get her head out. Nami decides she's going to pack up all her bags and leave. She takes all of her gifts, her jewelry, her purses. Literally everything that JJ had ever gifted her. Nami is packing her bags. She sees a phone that she doesn't recognize. She opens it up and the phone number that she believed were her future in-laws. JJ had been texting her pretending to be his fake tip-on parents. And he had used an app so that this text messages could be sent at a time where JJ was not on his phone. So, of course, Nami is going to believe that it was from Paradise Group's family members. JJ was taken into the police station to be investigated for, wide-scale fraud. But this is crazy. The police actually let JJ go home because JJ told them, well, I don't want to say it. I quote because it translated, but I had no sleep and food for almost 3 days. Then they immediately deleted their Instagram. When a reporter tried to contact them to talk about the whole case, they just screamed into the phone, I'm not JJ. Anyway, JJ cannot come within a certain distance of Nami. And they gave Nami this smartwatch and told her that if she sees JJ, just click the smartwatch. I mean, the whole thing was bizarre, especially considering the fact that this wasn't even JJ's first time going to jail. A few months before meeting Nami, JJ was sitting in prison. JJ had been sentenced to 2 years and 3 months in prison for fraud and scamming people. And it seems like it was a family business. JJ's dad was not the Paradise Group chairman, but a scam artist. JJ's dad, who is now 60-something, is publicly wanted for defrauding people out of over $1 million. He was recently arrested though. JJ was also married while they were in prison. Married a man this time because apparently in Korea, if you get married, the courts might be easier on you and let you get released early. Then why didn't real Chun family take any action, you may ask? This isn't the first time that someone pretended to be a part of this Chiebol family. So JJ is constantly pulling at their ear in the engagement photos. Many netizens now think it's because JJ was trying to look even more similar to the real Paradise Group Chun family. There's not that many pictures of the real heir to the Paradise Group, but there is a famous baby photo where the family took a photo with the chairman, his wife, and their 3 heir kids. And if you look closely, the youngest son does kind of look like JJ, but the son of the heir family, no offense to the billionaire, but it kind of has big ears. So JJ is pulling at their ears in the photo, potentially theorized by netizens to try and look like the older version of that boy in the photo. And once JJ was released from police custody, JJ got on a domestic flight, flew to the countryside in October 31st. JJ does an interview, and it feels like JJ is trying to just throw Nami under the bus. I didn't make any money from this. I paid for Nami's mortgage. I bought her a car. I gave Nami's daughter money. I gave Nami's mom money. I bought Nami luxury items and paid off her credit card debt. I did not save or collect money. I will tell the police everything they want to know. I don't have any intention of hiding anything. Whatever punishment I receive, I will face it. So it seems like JJ was playing the long game and using all of their old scam money or current, like while they're scamming to use it on Nami, so that they can marry Nami, and once they're married and getting some of this PR, I'm assuming this publicity, they can go out and easily scam the upper echelons of society. But after all of this went down, JJ did talk about wanting to be a man and transitioning. But a lot of experts again stated it felt like they were trying to sidetrack the conversation. But what's wild is that this isn't even the first time a high-profile scam involving the Paradise Group took place. The family is so secretive, con artists love using them as part of their scam. In 2003, an actor, Kim Sung-jong, broke off his engagement after his fiancée lied about being the Chun daughter. Then in 2017, a famous performance artist named Nancy Lang married and then divorced a man who also pretended to be the Chun son. Paradise Group made a public statement about this whole scam with JJ and stated, baseless claims about the Paradise Company have been spreading online in relation to JJ, which is severely detrimental to our reputation and image. JJ and their father are in custody right now. And that brings to the end of this case. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And I'll see you in the next one.